Picture this. It's a quiet evening. You've got that super statement open on your phone and there's a tidy little admin fee printed on the front. $1 a week. Maybe a sliver of a percent. Looks harmless. Here's what that page doesn't show you. 2 more fees, quietly taken out of your returns before the number you see is ever calculated. They're real, they're yours, and almost nobody adds them up. Today, I'll show you how to find them and what they're actually costing your retirement. And if you've never thought about this before, that's not a failure on your part. Your fund genuinely isn't designed to make these fees easy to see. This affects nearly every working Australian with a super account. There are 3 fees in play: an admin fee you can see, and investment and transaction fees you can't. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what you're paying, and the 3 simple moves that cut it. Let me show you the number that makes this real. Here's the figure that should make you sit up. In a single year, super funds charged Australians about $16.9 billion in fees. That's from the Federal Treasury's Financial System Inquiry, looking at the 2013 financial year. $16.9 billion out of people's retirement savings. But here's the part most people miss. Most of that money came straight out of returns, so members never saw it as a fee at all. That's exactly the trick we're going to unpack. So here's your plan, and it's genuinely simple. 3 moves. First, you audit your total all-in fee percentage. Then you benchmark it against other funds on the Free Your Super tool. And finally, you consolidate your accounts and sort out your insurance. Each one takes under 20 minutes, and every single one is free. So how does a fee stay invisible? It comes down to where it's taken. Your fund shows the regular deductions, the admin fee, your insurance premium, right there in your transaction history. But investment fees and most indirect costs are pulled out of the return before it's ever reported to you. Treasury describes these as mainly investment management fees that never appear as a direct deduction. So your net return looks perfectly fine, because the fee was already skimmed off the top before you saw it. And that's why so many people are convinced they barely pay anything. Let's put real numbers on it. Take Australian Super's own published example for a $50,000 balance in its balanced option. And keep in mind, this is illustrative, not a recommendation either way. The admin fee comes to about $102 a year. That part you can see. But the investment fee is 0.49%. That's $245 plus around $40 in transaction costs, all taken out of your returns. That's about $285 buried in the net figure. A low-cost index option near 0.3% would cost you roughly half. And the same math scales whether your balance is bigger or smaller. Now here's the second layer. And this one's a quirk of the system most people don't realise applies to them. If you've changed jobs a few times, you might be holding more than one super account without even knowing it. And every single account charges its own admin fee, its own investment fees, and its own insurance premium. Both the ATO and ASIC warn that multiple accounts mean multiple sets of fees and premiums quietly eating your balance. Same you, same money, just charged 2 or 3 times over. Let me show you what that actually costs. Say you've got 3 accounts of $25,000 each. Across all 3, you'd pay about $600 in percentage fees, $156 in flat admin, and $750 in triple insurance, roughly $1,500 a year. Now consolidate that same $75,000 into one account with one insurance policy, and it drops to about $900. That's around $600 a year wasted on duplicates alone. And that's before you even factor in compounding over the decades. CanStar ATO. Now I want to bust the myth that keeps people stuck on this. People tell themselves, I only pay that small admin fee I can see. The investment fees come out of performance, so they don't really cost me anything. That's not right. Treasury is clear. Those indirect expenses are mainly investment management fees, and they reduce your returns every single year. They're hidden. not free. And over a working life, that difference compounds into a genuinely life-changing number. So put the two layers together. On a $50,000 balance, around $285 a year is buried investment and transaction cost. And just half a percentage point more in fees across a 40-year career can cost you about $100,000 by retirement. That's using R6 Money Smart compound interest assumptions. A fraction of a percent on your statement, plus a couple of forgotten accounts, turns into a six-figure hole. Let me show you how this looks for a real person. Meet Sarah. She's 37, a marketing manager earning $95,000 a year. And honestly, she could be a lot of you watching. She's got 3 super accounts from different jobs, adding up to about $120,000. One main fund with $80,000 and 2 old ones with $20,000 each, all in balanced options, 28 years from retirement. Here's what Sarah found when she actually looked. Discovery 1. Sarah's statement said administration fee, $1 a week plus 0.10%. She read that as roughly $80 a year, and fair enough. But when she dug into the detail fees and costs section, she found an investment fee of 0.49%, that's $392, plus transaction costs taking another $64 from her returns. Her real total on that one account was about $588 a year, not $80, 7 times what she thought. Discovery 2. Those old accounts. Each of Sarah's 2 forgotten $20,000 funds was charging around 0.8 to 1% in fees, plus default death and TPD insurance of about $200 each. That's $400 a year in duplicate insurance for cover she was effectively paying for 3 times over. Combined with the fees, that's roughly $700 to $800 a year evaporating across the 2. CanStar, ATO. Now, I want to be upfront here. This is exactly where you have to be careful. Discovery 3, and this is the one that genuinely stung. Sarah compared her current all-in fee of about 0.8% against a low-cost index balanced option at 0.30%. With $120,000 starting almost $11,000 a year in contributions and a 7% return over 28 years, that 0.5% gap works out to roughly $100,000 less in retirement, using Money Smart's methodology and Treasury's fee data. Same contributions, same effort, $100 grand difference. Stack it all together, and Sarah's combined gap, the buried fees plus the duplicate accounts and insurance, comes to roughly $135,000 over 28 years. That's modelled on a 7% return and current contribution rates. Treasury, CanStar, Money Smart. A 6-figure slice of her retirement taken by fees she could barely see. The good news, every bit of it was fixable, and the same fix is available to you. So could this be you? Here are 3 quick signs. 1, you've never actually added up your investment and transaction fees, only glanced at the admin line. 2, you genuinely don't know how many super accounts are sitting in your name. 3, you've never checked your fund against the Your Super comparison tool. If even one of those rings true, the next 3 moves are exactly for you. And the best part is they're all free. Here's the thing, you don't need to overhaul your whole financial life to fix this. You just need 3 specific, practical steps you can start today. So let's walk through them, one at a time. Move 1, audit your total all-in fee. Pull up your latest annual statement and find the detailed fees and cost table, usually under fees and costs, or how your money was invested. Add up the administration fees, investment fees, transaction costs, and any advice or performance fees. That full total, not just the admin line, is what you're really paying. That's the number that matters, and most people have never seen it. This is general information, not personal advice. Here's exactly how. Log into each fund's portal and download the latest annual statement. Add the admin, investment, and transaction percentages together. Then, as a sanity check, divide your total dollar fees by your year-end balance to confirm the rate. What does good look like? For a balanced option, a total ongoing fee below about 0.5% a year is genuinely competitive. Move 2. Benchmark it. The ATO's Your Super comparison tool, free on MyGov, automatically lists the MySuper products you hold, with their fees and net returns side by side. This is one of those uniquely Australian advantages. The regulator built you a free tool to check exactly this. Sort by fees, sort by returns, and see precisely where your fund sits against cheaper options at the same risk level. Here's how. Log into MyGov and link the ATO service if you haven't already. Open the Your Super comparison tool under the Super section. Then sort by fees and net returns and compare the 5 to 10 year results, not just the last 12 months. What does good look like? A fund in the cheaper half of the fee range that's still delivering at least average long-term returns. Move 3. Consolidate and fix your insurance. In MyGov's ATO Super section, you can see every account in your name, including lost ones you'd forgotten about. Pick the fund you want to keep, then use its online Consolidate Super form to roll the others in. But here's the honest catch. Before you do anything, check the insurance inside each fund, because you don't want to accidentally cancel cover you actually need. That step matters more than the saving. Here's how. Open MyGov, head to the ATO section and click Super to list every account you hold. Check the insurance terms before you close anything. That's the order that protects you. Then use your chosen fund's online Consolidate form to request the rollovers. What does good look like? One main fund and one appropriately sized insurance policy that actually fits your life. So why is now the moment to do this? Because the system finally caught up in your favour. Back in 2014, the Financial System Inquiry exposed that $16.9 billion in annual fees and the drag of high charges. In 2021, the ATO launched the Your Super comparison tool, putting fees and returns right on MyGov for free. And also in 2021, stapling began. Your fund now follows you between jobs, which means the one you choose matters more than ever. The transparency exists. The only missing piece is you logging in. Once you've acted, take 2 minutes to verify it. You should now see one super account in your MyGov ATO list, not 3. Confirm your chosen fund shows a total fee under about 0.5% a year. And if you needed insurance, confirm one policy is active, not 0 and not 3. That's how you know it's actually done. Everything I've shared today comes straight from the Treasury, the ATO, ASIC's MoneySmart and Australian Super's own disclosures. All the links are in the description if you want to check the figures yourself. So here's where you stand now. You know the 3 buried super fees, and you know exactly how to audit, benchmark, and consolidate them. That puts you ahead of most people who'll never check. Next, we dig into the insurance hiding inside your super that you never asked for, and how to tell if you're paying for cover you don't need. If you've made it this far, the single best thing you can do today is open your latest super statement and find that real all-in fee. It takes about 10 minutes, and it could be worth a slice of that 100,000. If you want to go deeper on the insurance side next, that's exactly what we cover next. I'm Alex. I'll see you there.